Hello Craftaholics, I'm Peggy, Merry Craftmas in July, and welcome to another stocking stuffer video where we are going to make this really cute album that I came up with in a traveler's notebook style. And it is perfect size to plop into a stocking, to put in your purse, or since it is done like a traveler's notebook, in one of the holes on the side you could actually put a hanging element and make it an ornament on the tree. Which that would be fun. Put everybody's name on one, like wrap them and hang them up and let them find it on the tree. That's a good idea. Use that. Anyway, let me show you what I did. It's all out of it's a Michael's hot buy pad, and I have just kind of lined it with some 110-pound white cardstock. But on the front, I didn't really decorate it because there's so much going on with the snowman. But I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but I did do Wink Stella all over every part of the snowman that was snow, so it would sparkle, and it is very, very sparkly. And instead, unlike a traveler's notebook where it's elastic, I used ribbon instead. It's a little fiddly, but with some persistence, it turns out beautifully. I wouldn't do an actual traveler's notebook like that, never, but for this, it's perfect. So when you open it up, the first thing you see is a pocket on the side with a little snowman. And this is just a little folder that you can plop whatever in. I just added that in there. There are 3 folders included, and each one was made to hold a 2.5 by 3.5 inch photo on the front and the back. I actually, at first when I used some of the really cute papers, and it was just too distracting for a photo. That's why everything's kind of muted that's in there. Anyway, when you open it up, each one has 2 pockets. And I just took some pieces of the collection and backed them up on cardstock. Put them in there. Some more pieces. And then I took, from one of the sheets, I found a couple spots that I liked the little picture that was there. So I used a 1.5 inch punch. And then I just used Fabri-Tac and kind of smushed it all together onto a paper clip. So just for a fun little element there. And then, in this one, it's just some more cut aparts. And you could also actually make some little, not folders with pockets, but you could just make like a booklet, just fold over some cardstock, and then you have room inside for 2 more photos. So that would be like 8 additional photos. I don't know how much it'll hold. I think it would hold it. And on the back there's another pocket, and I happen to put one of those kind of little folders in there that I was talking about. Okay. So that is how she looks. And why don't we get started? I had tried to actually do it with laminated paper, but I was having a problem with my lamination. I don't know if it's my pockets or what, but it all kept separating, so I got really frustrated, and I like it out of just the cardstock better anyway. All right, get my little scoreboard, which, a little side note about my scoreboard here, I got it on Amazon, and it came with an envelope tool. So you know how your envelope punch board has for the notching and the corner rounding? Well, that's what this is. It has the notch here and the corner rounder here. But that's what I'm going to use to round my corners with. But it's like the fact that you can use it other places, and it's not just the whole punch board. It's pretty cool, actually. Okay, back to our project. Our first piece is the cover, and it is 7.5 inches long by 4.25 inches high, and you're going to score at 3 1/4 and at 4 1/4. That gives you that 1 inch gusset. Okay, we're going to put that aside. We're just going to get the pieces ready and then put everything together. Okay, these are the liner pieces. I didn't want to do it out of the 110-pound and then just mat it with paper. I wanted the paper to be the actual cover, so it worked out really good. You'll see. But what we have here is 2 pieces, and like I said, this is 110-pound. It's just the weight from Michael's. 2 pieces that are 3 3/16 wide and 4 1/4 high. So that's 2 of them. And then there's one piece that is 15/16 wide and 4¼ high. I did that so it would fit in with the score lines inside. It makes sense, you'll see. And then the pockets on the front, 2 of these are 4 3/16 by 3 inches high. And these you are just going to score 3 sides at 1/4 inch. And I'm actually turning it to do it because with that 3/16, I know my scoreboards, none of them have a 3/16 on there. So to ensure that you get the even size, just keep turning it like normal. And what I was referring to is scoring here and then scoring over here because it just doesn't fit. Anyway. Okay, let me put that aside for now. Now I did a punched edge on this for the one that I made, and let me find, I do not know, here it is. It's actually handy, that's really weird. You can just, you don't have to do this part, but it just adds a little something extra. So I just took an edge punch and just kind of found my center. It's easier for me if I do it this way. Just real quick, nothing fancy. But it just gives a little something special to your project. Sometimes it's really hard to line these up, especially with the lights on. I mean, I know I don't have a lot of lights, but still, it makes it a little hard to see sometimes where you're punching. Like I said, you don't have to do this, or if you have a die cutting, like a manual, well, a Gemini or something, a die cutting machine like that, you could actually use an edge die if you have one. Well, that didn't work right now, did it? If you prefer that over a hand punch. This is just what I had handy. Ha! Get it? Hand punch handy? I know, that was bad. That was really bad. Sorry, guys. Anyway. Get those out of the way. I'm going to grab my scissors. And like usual, we're going to cut into the corner. And again, on pockets, you can go right up to the corner of the pocket. It's not going to really make a difference there. We're also going to cut. I'm going to find the top of the score line on my design. Put my scissors there and cut down. Just so you don't see that piece. Okay, there's one. And guys, sorry if I go out of screen here. I'm trying to do a little closer for you guys so you can maybe see a little bit better. And I'm not used to I don't have a whole lot of room to work in, and so I'm working on it. I just got to figure out, what the best setup is going to be. But with time, it's just practice. So, okay, now we're going to fold and burnish all of our score lines on the pockets and on the cover. Oops, not like that. Get everything prepped. I hope everybody's having a good weekend. I know I did. My husband took a long weekend from work, and we actually I finally got to go to the happiest place on earth for adults, which for me is IKEA. It was awesome. Although sadly the restaurant wasn't open, but it was still good to get out there, and I got a new Calax unit, which once everything is ready, I will take pictures and put them up in my Facebook group, which if you're not a member of my Facebook group, you need to go over there. It is Mrs. Izzy's Crafty Hangout. And it's just getting started. There's only a few members, but I just want to be able to meet everybody. And also, if you make some of the projects, I'd love you to post pictures. So I just want to get to know everybody. So if you could, head on over there. Okay, now that everything is scored and burnished, I want to go ahead and round corners. And I'm only, let's see, this is a 1/4 inch rounder. But if you use whatever kind you have, you don't have to. If you don't have one, it's not a big deal. It's just aesthetically pleasing to some people's eye. This is a liner piece, and I'm just doing 2 of the corners because that's going to be flat inside. But again, oops, if you don't have a corner rounder, not a big deal. Should I straighten that out? Okay. It's a pretty quick project. And like I said, if you kind of do it, like cut all the covers, score it kind of like assembly line, it should go pretty quick actually, if you want to make it like a bunch of these. So hopefully you will. Okay, now what I'm going to do, the first piece I'm putting down, and again, this is why the weird size is, so it fits right between the score lines. So we're going to take this, I'm just going to use glue because I think it's easier, and I've got that little bit of wiggle room with it. I tried putting one together with tape, and it just was not working. Anyway. So I hope you guys are all crafting good for Craftmas in July. It's not my favorite time of the year, but one of my favorites because it's leading up to the big one. And we're going to start this week. We are going to start on the Advent calendar. So that should be fun. And one thing I had forgot to tell you guys the other day when I did the one video, that you are also going to need, for that project, you're also going to need some, if you're using like craft color for the base, you're going to also need some craft color 65-pound cardstock. But I will put a list, actually I'll have it posted in my Facebook group of exactly what you'll need. But I mean, even if you're not a member, it'll also be posted on the video. So do not worry about that. Okay, there's one. And it just gives a really good, makes it really nice and sturdy. And you don't have to use white. I mean, you can use whatever color is going to go with your papers. And you can even probably use other pattern paper, just as long as they're both thick. Because that's, you're really going for the stability. That was another thing. When I did it with the laminator, it wasn't as strong as this. All I'm doing here is I'm putting up, bending my corner, and just sliding my cardstock in here so it knows right where to go. There we go. Distance-wise, it knows right where to go. Okay. Now what you can do is go and take a look around the outside. And anywhere, I've got just like a very little bit of white showing, but anywhere you have some of your base color showing, now is the time to go and cut that piece off if it's really bothering you. Okay, there's that. And just a little bit over here. Ooh, super quiet. Anyway, let me get this out of the way. Okay, now we're going to put our pockets on. Actually, you know what? Let's wait on the pockets. What we need to do is mark our spots so we can put our ribbon through. To make the holes for like any kind of traveler's notebook or notebook like that, you're going to need, I'm using, just because my husband was a doll and got me one, I am using my Crocodile Big Bite because it goes right into the center. But if you just have like a regular Crocodile, that's fine, and just use that, oops, sorry, on the edges and like a pokey tool. Just put it on something soft like foam or something, and you can mark your spot. You can just punch through with this, and that's fine. I did that for the longest time until I got my Big Bite. So, now what I'm going to do, I know it's just about 1 inch wide. the liner piece there. I'm going to find my center. Centering rulers, they're really great for work like this. This one is by My Sweet Petunia. They're the ones that make the Misty. And it's awesome. There's my center there. And I'm also going to go to my center like a quarter of an, about 3/16 in. So between the 1 and 2/8, well, the 1 1/4 inch, you're going to go and put a little mark in there. Then we're going to move it over. And do it this way. Then you just need to figure out you want to kind of make sure they're even. Let's see. And just do one more on each side there. And when I'm punching, I may punch in a different spot, but I'm at least in the right area. I'm trying to do like a quarter of an inch in. And if any of you right now are going, this is too hard, no, it's not. Just persistence. It takes a while, just like the stringing part takes a while to learn. But once you know it, you know it. So that's pretty awesome. And I keep kidding you, I've really got to fix this setup so I'm not causing earthquakes for you guys. Okay, I'm using an 1/8 of an inch punch. So if you're using a hand punch, make sure it's an 1/8 of an inch. So you don't want anything too big, unless you plan on using bigger ribbon. I'm using like an 1/8 inch ribbon, but even when they make traveler's notebooks though, I use the 1/8 inch hole. You just line it up, and she chomps right through. And just like if your holes aren't even, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. See, mine, they're pretty good, but they're not great. They could have been better. Just 2 more. Okay, there we go. But if you can get one, we got that when Michael's had like a 60% off coupon. That's the only way I got it, because they ain't cheap. Anyway, back to our ribbon. I'm just using, like I said, this 1/8 of an inch red ribbon. I just got it at Walmart. I think that's like 47 cents in their sewing department. So, sorry guys, not a big deal. Put that in there. Okay. With this, what I usually do, I would take my scissors and I cut a pretty steep angle. So it looks like a point. See if I can. So it looks like that point. And then I take a lighter and just very, very gently just seal the ends in, so just so it doesn't fray while you're working with it. Okay. I'm gonna go slow, and don't feel bad if you have to like stop the video to catch up or anything. It's not. I understand. It took me a while to get this, and I am doing it a little different than a traveler's notebook. So this is only for this project. You take your ribbon and you go down in the middle hole on one of the ends. It's not going to matter if it's top or bottom until we start putting our folders in. So, okay. I'm going to pull a good bit. There we go. Okay. Now trying to keep it like, oh, sorry, I hope that was in frame. Trying to keep it neat. Try to keep it straight while you're putting it. You can always fix it, but it's easier to try to get it straight while you're putting this through. So now I've come up that middle hole. I'm just going to go down the other hole here on the other side. I hope that's in focus, because on the screen I'm looking at, it is not in focus, but it looks like it is on my camera. Okay. Okay, so you came up the middle hole. Now you go down one of the side holes. I usually do the one farthest away from me. And you pull that till it's nice and pretty. Then you turn it back over. And I'm kind of, let me see if I can get that up there. I'm kind of folding it this way so it's flat and it makes a nice, just a nice corner there, a nice edge. Like I said, you're probably going to need to pull more out anyway, but if you get it straight to begin with, it makes it a lot easier. Now we're going to go straight down to the other side and go down the hole that is opposite of the one we just came up and pull that through without getting it, without having this happen. Okay. Usually when you work with a traveler's notebook, this will be cut normally, and you'll just be holding an edge. You won't have to worry about a whole spool like that, depending on how you do it. But okay, so we're going to turn it back over. And quick quiz, where are we going now? You may figure it out. Hopefully you will. Right down the middle. And pull, make sure you do not have a nice twisted edge like that one. Okay. Flip her over again. And now we're going to take this and turn it so it lies flat again. And now this is a little bit tricky. This is easier though with ribbon than it is with elastic. You're going to take your ribbon. You're going to kind of, that's our first piece that came through. We're going to go in right like over it. Over or under, it doesn't matter, but it's a little more difficult because you've got, you know, a little less room. So there we go. So if you pull the piece that's already in there towards you and put this in on the other side, you have a little bit more room to work with. And that's pulled nice and tight. Flip her over again. And then we go through that last hole there. And if you guys need, I mean, if I didn't go slow enough, let me know and I can put a private video up in the Facebook group. So to make it maybe a little bit clearer. Or even possibly go live. I've never done that in my life, but just to help you guys get it. Because that is my main concern, that you guys understand what I'm doing and you can do it too. So, and I don't mean to talk down to anybody. I hope to God that didn't sound like it. I just want to make sure you guys understand what I'm doing. How's that? Okay. And I got some slack jack. There we go. Okay, now once again, we're going to bend it so it's nice and flat. And again, going into the hole all the way opposite of the one that we just came up. So now you should have, they should be nice and flat like that on the inside. Turn her over for the last time, for right now. I'm going to bend her over again. And this time, just going to go through the middle with that piece. Okay. Now we're going to need more ribbon than this at the end. So you need to pull some extra through. And it's not hard. You just find where you started pulling and you just kind of, it's kind of like, if you do it the way I do, it's kind of like tightening the laces on your sneakers. You kind of find one spot and you just keep pulling the other way. Okay, there we go. Now what we're going to do is hold these ends together. And I'm going to cut the other side even. Okay. Put that aside. We're done with that. Now, in a traveler's notebook, this is with the elastic, this is where you would tie it. But what we're going to do, we're going to take both of the ends and we are going to make sure we don't tangle up with this middle piece that's here. So I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to go over top of that one piece of ribbon, and I'm going to put them both through that middle hole. And just make sure that they're not twisted and that they lay flat as well. And this one, well, she doesn't want to cooperate. It's not cooperating, must be a boy. Don't tell my husband I said that. Anyway, we're going to turn her over. And we're just going to take these and tie like a knot. Just to hold it in place. Okay, and then we're going to take the ends again. And just kind of cut them again. Well, you know what? They're actually still pretty good from going through there, so they're fine. But I take it and I hit it with the lighter again, just to seal those edges and just so it doesn't fray. Not enough for it to catch on fire or melt or anything, but we're done with our stringing. So when you turn her over, which top, she looks like this. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, now we're going to put in our pockets. And first thing you want to do, oh, these also need a corner punch so that they are rounded. And that's a little tougher because you're going through like 3 pieces of cardstock. But if I can do it, trust me, you can do it, because I have really bad, you guys know I had bad hands. Okay. And now you're going to check and just make sure that it will sit properly when glued in. So it's not like a little wonky or anything. I mean, if it is, you can fix it, but just want to make sure. Okay, it's going to lay perfect. I'm going to use my glue again. The ends have a habit of getting stopped up. Okay. And like usual, I'm going to put just a little dot on each piece to kind of hold this down, hopefully. Okay. Then I'm just going to put glue on my flaps. And I'm just going to line it up with the corner. And my paper edge from the front. All right. One pocket. And I'm going to do the exact same with the other side. We're actually getting really close to being done, believe it or not. Except for making the little inserts and things like that. That's always very time consuming, but that's the real fun part, I think. Some more glue. And again, we're going to line it right up with our corner. Okay. It's a shame, I could really use some fresh air in my house, but today our temperature out here in Arizona, we're going to 115, so not going to happen. Anyway, put that cap on just for right now. And that's the cover right there. So let's put that aside. And now we need to do our folders. And I have my 3 pieces are 6 inches wide and 5.5 inches high. Now, if you want more, if you want a deeper pocket than this or less of a pocket, just adjust the length from the 5.5 to like 5 and 3/4, 5 1/4, whatever. That's how you would adjust that part. Now, first thing I'm going to do is put it in sideways, so it's portrait. And I'm going to score at 1 3/4. That's how deep my pocket is. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it around so that's at the bottom. So my score line is at the bottom there. Put it in landscape, and I am just going to score down at 3. Now, making a pocket, you need to have a little gap here so when everything is folded, there's not a whole lot of bulk. So we are going to fold. I'll show you how we're going to alleviate that in a second. This is the easiest way I found to cut it, at least. You're going to line up your edges, burnish your score lines there. Now what I do is I take my scissors, and right at the score line, I put my scissor on my side of the score line. I just kind of rest it there on top. Then I turn my scissors in, and I just cut a small triangle that's maybe 1/8 of an inch wide at the bottom. So when you open it, that is what you have. And this is the same technique in making a folder of like any size. If you want one like this, it's the same no matter what you do. So I'm just putting a little bead of glue on the outer edges. Make sure they're sealed down. And you've got a folder. See, pretty simple. But we are also going to round the corners, so at each one as well. Now again, if you don't round the corners of your cover, you don't need to round anything that's inside unless you want to. And let's do the next two. 1 3/4. And 3, I'll score them both first, then I'll cut them. 1 in, 1 3/4. Turn it once. So score lines at the bottom, and then score at 3. Can we put that away? And again, fold up on our score line that goes landscape there. Then open that up. Again, fold it in half. And line the edges up. Burnish that one. And again, my scissors are on my side of the score line. Just turn them and snip up. Pretty simple, huh? Then glue our 2 edges. Punch my corners. Oops, that did not go all the way in. There we go. Then my last one, this is what happens if you score a little too hard, so be careful. Don't do that. At least we're cutting that part out, so that's good. Going in half, just be careful. That's why, at least my pencil bone folder, my nylon one, at least it helps because I do have a heavy hand when I just have a tendency to press too hard. So it does help having that type of that shape and the Teflon, because it works really well. Okay, and there's my middle. And just glue up on my sides. Okay. And get my corners. Oops, sorry guys, I keep going out of the, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep the microphone further from my head so I'm not so loud and you don't hear me breathing. I'm trying. Okay, there are those. Now we take our folders, we get our cover. Now with elastic, this is a lot easier because you just pull the elastic up. But we've made these quite a bit smaller than the actual cover, so that you just pick up a little piece of ribbon with the corner of your folder. If you stick your nail under, it'll help. And you, theoretically, there we go, you just slide it right in on the ribbon. And that's how you put your folders in. So, again, you just slide it. Now, this is a little tougher because it's the one with the two that go out front to close, but you just slide it under. And if it's a little difficult like this, you can actually bow it a little bit to try to get it under. It will help. Just kind of bend it up a little bit. There you go, see? And our last one. See, just a little bend does a whole bunch of good. And that is the actual album itself right there. Then we'll bring that around and we'll tie it in the front. But now we have to decorate. So, I had made for this, I had taken a die cut of just around when this says Merry Christmas. This is our Crafter's Companion that I got in Paper Crafting magazine, I think, last year. If you have never, like when you're in Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's, whatever, go look at the magazines. If you look at the Paper Crafting magazines, I'm not going to put like all glue. I'm just putting a few dots here and there. It'll be way enough to hold it, and it won't get all messy. When you're in the checkout line, look at the craft magazines, the one that have the freebies with them. That's what I get. They're a little expensive, but you always get really, really good tools to use. They get really nice stamps. You can get dies, and it's just, and you get to, they're all British, of course, but you get to try some new products out and everything, and it's fun. I'm going to line up my Merry Christmas and pop it down. And if I had a cloth, I could get that glue off right now. Let me see what I got. No, I have a tissue. Okay. When the glue is dry, I can get it out too with an eraser. With a gum eraser like this one. Just go in between. It's not a gum eraser. I don't know why I called it that. It's just an adhesive eraser. And this one I got at Dollar Tree. It works just as good as the one I paid $7 for on Amazon. It's the exact same thing, actually. Okay. And I think that's enough because there's already like some glitter down here. I mean, I could take it and put a couple of gems, I guess, on it. These are red ones, so they're not so out in your face. And I usually will dot where I want to put my gems. Because I always like, I'm going to use the real little ones. I always like a little extra glue on them, just in case they don't hold, because I've had some that they fall right off. So, it's just kind of a little insurance policy and make sure they stay on there. And this can just be folded over like this so you can press on it. It will not hurt it one bit. Let's see. Oh, there's my third one. The only problem when you're doing like this where there's snow on the page, you can't find your white dot of glue. That's not cool. Down here. Oops. Not my finger. Well, that one does not want to go on there. Let's try this again. Let's put a little more glue. Oh, and speaking about the craft magazines, like all being British, if you go to least I can't find any that are printed in America. But if you go to Rosa Kelly, I think it's rosakelly.com. She's a phenomenal paper artist here on YouTube. If you go to her website, she actually does a digital magazine that comes out like every 2 months. So it's really good. So you might want to check that out. Because it's all in PDF, so you can even print it out to keep it. Where do you go? Yeah. I have flying bling. Let's see. Guys, bored yet? Watching me just place little gems down? Yeah, we could put a couple down here too. I know. Oh my God, will she ever stop? No. Never too much bling. Okay, no, that is not true. There can be too much bling. I've seen too much bling on some stuff. Avoid the over amount of blingage when you craft. Okay. Just a little something on the front. You can decorate the folders if you want to. I really wouldn't, since you're going to have photos going on there. And you don't really want to put a lot on the inside because it'll kind of get in the way. But you could put like a few little bling pieces or whatever down. So let's see. These are just, the page of strips that's in your paper pads. That's what these are. I just cut them out. So these are the cut aparts. Well, come on, guys. Sorry, ignore my arm. I didn't realize it was like right there in your face. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I made like a little arrow for the other one. I did it out of this, which I thought was really cute. So I'm just going to cut. Let me get my smaller scissors. I'm just going to cut a piece off. Inch and a half. Now, I'm going to do this on the back side because it's really, really hard to see on the screen. But I'm going to give it a tail. So you find the middle and you snip up the middle. This is the easiest way. I still mess up, but it's all good. And then you go from the corner and you snip right into your cut line. Right to the top of your cut line. And instant fishtail. Or mermaid tail if you want to call it that. That is fine. Actually, just a little bit of glue. And just pick a spot. And that looks good. There's that. And I know I put a couple of gems on the other one. I think I'll do the same here. And this I would definitely glue because while there's something over the glitter, it's still not like a flat surface. So just to ensure that they don't go anywhere. Then I'm going to use a medium. And if I miss some of the glue, it's fine. It dries clear, so you won't even know that it's there. A little one. Then in this part, you could either use a die cut machine and cut something out of like the paper, or you can use one of the little cut aparts. Let's see. Could probably cut him down a bit. I'm not gonna like fussy cut. I'm just gonna kind of cut around him, just because he's got a lot of extra card on him. So. And I'm really praying that this is in focus, because of the screen I'm looking at, it is not. Fussy cutting is not my forte, so you won't see me do it very often. Like I said, this isn't even like really fussy cutting, but I guess it is. I'm just leaving a little bit of the paper around them. Okay. Then I'm going to give him some glue. Stick in there. I'm going to decorate back here. Let's see. Too big. Just looking for another cut apart that would... Oh, that's cute. Nah, I don't like the red on the red. Let's see. How about Merry and Happy? Again, I'm going to cut around it just because there's a lot of card there. Again, just leaving a bit of a, I guess about a 1/16 of an inch space around it. No, for the most part, it's about a 1/16 of an inch. This is like one of the great things about buying these paper pads at Christmas, or like I buy a lot of digital collections too, which you still have access to everything. Is these are great for like card making or sentiments in a card. They're just awesome to use anywhere, which saves you from having to make embellishments. So I can use them with embellishments. There you go. Excuse me. Some more glue. I need to fill my glue bottle. Put that right in the center there. And that's really all I'm going to do. You can do more if you want, but for right now, I'm just going to keep it at that for right now. But we can make a few little inserts for it. Put that aside. God, my throat. I'm just going to take some red cardstock. Let's see. I just think this is cute. I don't get the cat on it, but hey, you know, it's all good. Let's see, red and red is not going to work. Let me find a scrap of white. I'm just going to back it up on some cardstock just to make it pop. Get that off the end. Oops, sorry guys, I didn't realize I was out of, like way out of the shot there. It's just for little tags and stuff like this, it's really simple. Just find something that you like, back it up on 1 or 2 layers of cardstock, whatever you feel like doing. And pray that you can cut it straight, because I'm not the best cutter. And if it's not straight, you trim it till it is. Just trying to get those even. Okay, see, there's one. Let's see. They're just too cute, these guys. So they are going to go in just like that. Let me get my... So we'll put that one here. Put them in there. I also took some of the paper and I punched it out just with a tag punch. So they can maybe go back in here. Eventually I will put string in through the holes for Christmas, but for right now I'm just kind of quickly doing this. Let me borrow from the other one. Let's see what we've got in there. Borrow from one to give to the other. And I'm sorry, this video did end up being pretty long. I tried not to, guys, I promise, I promise. I just have so much to say. And for this one, I actually made another clip that is a poinsettia on both sides. These I made last year at Christmas when I was making some cards. And again, I will be showing how to make all of these as soon as I find my dies. That would be one of the things that we do this month. Just make some little embellishments like that. Let's see, we'll put you there. That's, you can even use this other one. You just fill it up with some fun little things. Or gift cards would be great, like in that front pocket. And this would be great to hold a gift card. But that's pretty much all you need. And then when you're done, hopefully you can tie yours better than I tie mine. You just tie the bow. Hopefully. Maybe. There we go. Alrighty then. You just tie your bow, well, a little bit tighter than that, it just came loose. And like I said, you can also put some ribbon through the one of the holes and hang it on a tree. But let me fix that because that's bothering me now. I'm not the best bow tire. I've even tried making bows. I'm not the best at it. So I will try to get better. But at actually hand making them, I can cut them out and make out of a die. But all right, there we go. And that is your stocking stuffer for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. It will give you a choice for some videos that will be notified of all of them when I upload, and that would be awesome. And be sure to hit the like button for this video because as a new channel, it will really help me grow. And I'm trying to get monetized. Anyway, help. And again, be sure to come to Facebook and join my group. It is Mrs. Izzy's Crafty Hangout. There will be a link below. And have a good one, guys. And I will see you in the next one, which will be this week when we start working on our advent calendar. Bye.